Good morning, artists. Happy Tuesday. We are continuing our series on spring. We're going to create a basket of flowers for our final drawing, along with a chick and a bunny and butterflies and anything else that you want to add to it. So make sure that you have your materials ready. Don't forget that you need a sharpened pencil. Go ahead and do that now so you don't have to worry about that later. You'll need an eraser because you're going to eventually you're going to erase your pen drawing, all of the guidelines that you had from your pencil marks, but I didn't do mine until after I finished recording because I have learned the hard way that it takes a little while for the ink to dry. So just allow your ink to dry fully, and then you're going to want to erase it. And then you're going, once you finish your pencil drawing, you're going to go over everything with ink and make sure that you like what you see before you do that, so that if you have any changes, you can change it while it's in pencil, and then when you've got them inked in, then it's going to look beautiful. Yesterday we did flowers. Today we are going to work on one thing. We're going to focus on doing a butterfly, and I'm going to work on a monarch butterfly. There are many, many wing shapes for butterflies, but this one is one that I see all the time. They migrate through Texas on their way down to and from Mexico, and so if you're lucky, you will see a swarm of monarch butterflies, and they are beautiful. So what we're going to do is we're going to begin with the body, just the way the other insects were on the previous drawing. It's going to have three sections. It's going to have an oval for the thorax, and then it's going to have a longer oval for the abdomen like this, and then it's going to have a smaller head here, a circle for the head. And on either side of the head then we are going to draw some ovals for the eyeballs, and we can also put some little feelers out here like this. Okay, now that's the easy part of the butterfly. The hard part, of course, is the wings themselves. And so the wings are going to look sort of like triangles. We're going to start with triangles, and then we're going to alter them quite a bit. So the wings always are attached to the thorax, not the abdomen. So we're going to start up here from the shoulder, and we're going to draw a rounded triangle. Goes out like this and comes down to about here, and then it's going to go back up like this. Okay, we're going to try and do exactly the same thing on the other side as close as we can. Go out like this, and then down like this, and then back up almost exactly to where it was attached before. I think this wing is a little bit smaller than the wing that we have on this side, so I'm just going to adjust a little bit. This is the time to make changes. If you don't like what you see, go ahead and use your pencil and erase and get your guidelines, these basic shapes that we draw, to make sure that it looks the way we want it. Now, the bottom wings, or the under wings, the second set of wings, is going to be another triangle, and it's going to go down here and then up to the body, and then basically it's completed because it's touching the other wing. We're going to do the same thing on the other side, down here, and then up to the other wing like that. Okay, those are our basic shapes. But now, monarch butterflies have scalloped wings, so we're going to change the shape of it a little bit. So this part of it is good. It's going to go out like this, but then we're going to start with our scallops like this, and it actually comes in a little bit like that. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on the bottom, and we're actually going to round these up a little bit more so they look more like wings, like this. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Add your scallops like that, and do the same thing on the bottom wing. These are just wavy lines, really. That's all we're doing, is wavy lines. And again, when we finish our inking, we'll go back and erase those so that it looks like a completed butterfly. Now, the pattern on a butterfly wing sort of looks like a stained glass window. In between all of those beautiful colors, you have black lines. And so we're going to start with some basic black lines, and we're going to start with a long teardrop shape on either side, like this. Don't go all the way to the end, because at the end, that's where you have all of those little dots that kind of look like eyeballs. And underneath each one then, we're going to have three shapes that sort of look like teardrops. Goes like this, and when you get close to this other shape that we've created, you're going to leave that space in between so that we have that black section that divides the colorful pieces. We're going to do three of them, so do another one here, and then do another one here, like that. Try and do exactly the same thing on the other side. If it's not exact, nobody is going to be around to tell you otherwise. but it looks prettier if you can kind of get it consistent and make them look like they all belong together. Now there's a lot of space left down here. That's okay. We're going to fill that in with the dots. We're going to do the same sort of a thing down on the bottom wings. The bottom wings are going to have two long teardrop shapes like we did here. Not right on the edge because we want to have that black outline. One is going to go here, and then the other one is going to go right next to it and leave space in between so it looks like it's got that black section. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Try and make them look as close to the same as possible. You know, I'm not sure if butterflies are exactly symmetrical. That means that they're same on the both sides. If you could look at the human face and divide it in half, your face is not the same on both sides. So it's very possible that they're unique on the different sides. Down here on the bottom wings, we're going to add some of these sections like we have up here on the big ones. And I'm going to do a few of them. I'm going to start here in the middle. I'm going to add another teardrop in between, like that. And then underneath it, we're going to do some that look like this. And that should look sort of consistent from one side to the next. Now the rest of that space that you've got around the butterfly, you're going to put dots. And some of the dots are bigger and some of the dots are smaller. And you could actually extend this one out if we wanted to. I think I'm going to extend this out like this. And do the same over here on this side so that we don't have as much space for the dots. Like this. And that's our butterfly. Now, you're going to do exactly the same thing for a butterfly that's flying, the one that looks like you're seeing it from the side or it's landed on a flower, because we've got lots of flowers up here that it might land on. And we are going to start with the same thing. We're going to start with the head. Excuse me, let's do the thorax first. An oval for the thorax. And then when they're flying, sometimes their abdomen curves a little bit like this. So we're going to make a curved abdomen. And then the head up here at the top, a little smaller circle. And then from that, of course, we're going to have the bigger eyeballs. And we're going to have the feelers coming out like this. Okay? Pretty simple body. And then again, we're going to start with rounded triangles to make the wings. And remember, it's always going to start from the thorax. This one is going to start from the shoulder here. And we're going to go out like this. And down. And back to that shoulder section. And then another one that goes out like this. And when it attaches, it's going to go right there. Now, you might want to put a third one in here, just the hint of the other side of his body will be there. And we can't see through the wings, so that's all we're going to have of that third wing. Okay, now again, we want to go back and we want to change up the shape of this a little bit. It's usually a little bit bigger at the top, and then it moves in and it does its scallops here. Same thing on this bottom one. We want to round that section like that. And we can see a little bit of a rounded section up there at the top. And again, basically you're going to be doing just one side like we've done over here with the pattern. We're going to start with a long teardrop shape that goes out like this. And then the ones underneath, I always find it easiest to start with this one here. Go back to it, but not completely. You want to have that black space in between. And another one that does like that. So none of these are touching. We've got those black kind of window pane, kind of like stained glass window effect in between. And then you can put your dots. There really are many, many dots on a butterfly, so you can put as many dots as you want to there, big and small. And then we're going to do the same thing with the bottom wing. We're going to have a small teardrop shape there, and we're going to do a second one right next to it like this. And then we had a few more. Let's just make some small ones here. And then our dots underneath it. I think that looks pretty good. Now switch over to your pen. And let's go back and ink all of these in. And remember, because we use triangles, rounded triangles, as our basic shapes, those shapes, not all of these lines are going to get drawn back in. So I'm actually going to do his eyeball. And did you know that in order to get the nectar out of the flower. They have this long curled up tongue in the front, and we can show that on the side view. When they land on the flower, they're probably going to want to get some of that nectar. And we didn't put in any feet, so let's go ahead and put some long legs in here as well, like that. That works. And then again, we're going to do this rounding of the triangles that we put in here, like that. And then go back in and do the shapes. Now when you color this in, of course, all of this area in between these shapes is going to be black. The only area on the butterfly that's colorful is these shapes that we're drawing. And usually if you're doing a monarch butterfly, it's going to be done in orange. But you can do any color scheme that you choose to make it your own beautiful butterfly. Okay, there's the side view or the profile of our butterfly. And then let's go ahead and do the other one as well over here. This one is kind of the top view, so maybe we don't see the tongue or his feet sticking out really. This is kind of a stylized version, which means it's not terribly realistic, but it definitely gives you the idea that this is a monarch butterfly. And I'm changing up the shape of the wing a little bit as I go. And make sure that it tucks in a little bit, because the tip of the wing usually goes out a little bit further than the bottom part of it. Okay, and then go back in and draw your shapes in. Now, as I said before in my previous drawing, on the Monday drawing, I am not going to erase until the ink is well dried so that I don't make a mess of it like I have on my other ones. As soon as your ink is dry, you go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to add a few more dots in here. And then tomorrow, we are going to be working on a chick and a bunny, because spring is all about new life, the renewal of the earth, and new animals, beautiful new little babies out there, and renewal. And of course, they're so cute. You just got to do it. Like I said, put as many little dots in there as you have space for, like that, and that'll make your butterfly even more customized and gorgeous. All right, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. We will see you tomorrow, Wednesday, for our next session.